Could the Lakers be quietly building the perfect roster around Luka Doncic? A former Pacers playoff hero is now being linked with Los Angeles, while a surprisingly cheap trade package could bring Klay Thompson to Hollywood. And if that wasn't enough, details of a potential deal for Nicolas Claxton have now emerged. Subscribe to SkyHook Report and stay with us until the end, because the Lakers' offseason plans are getting more intriguing by the day.
Could the Los Angeles Lakers realistically land a four-time NBA champion and one of the greatest shooters in league history for absolute pennies on the dollar? What if I told you the missing piece to unlock head coach JJ Redick's offense and fully weaponize Luka Doncic is currently stuck on a rebuilding roster in Texas, just waiting for a ticket back to his home state of California? Right now, the Los Angeles Lakers find themselves at a massive crossroads regarding their rotation. You look at the current iteration of this roster, and it is a completely different landscape than what we saw just a few years ago. The blockbuster trade that shockingly brought Luka Doncic to the purple and gold in exchange for Anthony Davis and Max Christie completely altered the championship window for this historic franchise. But while Luka is a generational offensive engine, the reality is that the front office has not completely figured out how to surround him with the optimal perimeter personnel. Before this current era, we saw the front office struggle to put shooting around LeBron James, and now we are seeing the exact same spacing issues rear their ugly heads. Coach Redick is trying to implement a modern, high-octane offensive system, but the reality is that guys like Jared Vanderbilt and Dalton Knecht simply became unplayable under his watch. The spacing tightened up, the driving lanes for Luka disappeared, and the offense stagnated. Enter Klay Thompson. Klay originally signed with the Dallas Mavericks specifically to team up with Luka Doncic, but the moment Dallas shocked the basketball world and shipped Luka to LA, Klay's title hopes in a Mavericks uniform vanished shortly into his tenure. Now, Dallas has pivoted. They are getting younger and building an entirely new timeline around their rookie sensation, Cooper Flagg. Klay Thompson no longer fits their long-term vision, and frankly, he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild when he still has championship basketball left in the tank. This is where the front office gymnastics get incredibly interesting. The Los Angeles Lakers have a major constraint right now. They desperately want to retain LeBron James and Austin Reeves in free agency. That is priority number one and priority number two for Rob Pelinka. So how do you upgrade a roster and build an ideal rotation around Luka Doncic without severely compromising your salary cap flexibility or triggering luxury tax penalties? According to a realistic new trade package pitched by Sports Illustrated, there is a deal on the table right now that could solve everyone's problems. The proposal has the Los Angeles Lakers receiving Klay Thompson. In exchange, the Dallas Mavericks would receive Jared Vanderbilt and Dalton Knecht. The immediate pushback here is obvious. Why on earth would the Dallas Mavericks accept a trade package centered around two players that the Lakers actively want to lose to clear rotation spots? Well, Knecht is still a relatively young name who could potentially develop and improve if given a more consistent green light role in a rebuilding offense. Vanderbilt, despite his offensive limitations, is a solid bench player who warrants taking a chance on. Dallas knows they need to do right by Klay, and dealing the veteran to a team with legitimate title hopes aligns with their new youth movement. Let's break down the actual logistics of this deal and what it means for the Lakers' rotation. We are essentially talking about flipping two guys who fell completely out of the rotation for one of the most respected veterans in the league. Klay Thompson isn't the primary option anymore, and the Lakers would likely be utilizing him off the bench, but he would be perfectly suited for a super sub role alongside either Luka or LeBron, getting him wide open looks. You cannot help off of Klay on the perimeter. It also creates an incredible storybook narrative considering Michael Thompson, Klay's father, famously played many seasons for the Showtime Lakers. From a basketball analysis standpoint, the risk versus reward here heavily favors the Lakers. Are there concerns about Klay's lateral quickness? Absolutely, but you are trading for his championship pedigree, his floor-spacing gravity, and his veteran experience. The Western Conference is an absolute bloodbath right now, and to survive, you need players who will not shrink. If Rob Pelinka can execute this exact trade, shipping out Vanderbilt to Knecht without attaching premium future draft capital, it is an absolute masterclass. It preserves the money needed to pay LeBron and Reeves, it rids the roster of unplayable pieces, and it arms Luka Doncic with the exact type of perimeter weapon he thrives alongside. Do you trust Klay Thompson to be the ultimate difference maker off the bench for this Lakers squad, or should Rob Pelinka target a different profile?
What if the Los Angeles Lakers' biggest offseason acquisition isn't a massive blockbuster trade, but rather a ruthless, calculated offer sheet designed to steal a $29 million playoff hero directly from the hands of an in-state rival? Could Rob Pelinka really hijack the restricted free agency market to completely transform J.J. Redick's bench unit? Welcome back to the SkyHook Report. Let's talk about the absolute necessity of second unit production. If you watched the Lakers recently, you know exactly what the glaring weakness was. The front office knows that to truly support the massive playmaking burden carried by Luka Doncic, they desperately need a wiry, battle-tested wing contributor who can provide instant offense off the bench. Now, contrast our bench struggles with the situation developing over in Clipperland. Bleacher Report's Eric Pincus just dropped a massive report indicating that the Lakers could soon get involved in a high-stakes bidding war for an ex-Indiana Pacers playoff hero who was about to hit restricted free agency after finishing his 2025-2026 campaign with the Los Angeles Clippers. We are talking about 23-year-old rising star Benedict Mathurin. Mathurin found himself trapped in a rebuilding nightmare with the Indiana Pacers earlier this season after Tyrese Halliburton's devastating Achilles recovery and Miles Turner's departure led to a catastrophic 19-win, 63-loss campaign. Midway through that disastrous season, Indiana blew it up, shipping Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, and 3 draft picks to the Clippers in exchange for Ivica Zubac and Kobe Brown. Now, Mathurin is up for a new contract, and the Lakers are lurking in the shadows alongside teams like the Bulls and Nets, armed with the potential to submit a massive offer sheet that could lead to incredibly difficult decisions for the Clippers front office. This is where the restricted free agency game becomes a high-stakes chess match. The Clippers hold the right of refusal. If the Lakers construct an aggressive offer sheet, they could force their hallway rivals into an impossible financial corner, potentially letting a dynamic wing walk across the hall to the purple and gold. But the internal debate for the Lakers is equally fraught with risk. Is Benedict Mathurin actually the right fit for head coach J.J. Redick's system? Mathurin is an absolute bucket getter, contributing a highly respectable 17.4 points per game on 42.6% shooting from the field during his 26-game stint with the Clippers. However, the glaring red flag is his three-point shooting. He shot a dismal 20.7% from beyond the arc during that stretch. In a Redick system that heavily prioritizes floor spacing and perimeter efficiency, a 20% three-point shooter is a liability, and he would have to shoot the ball better to earn significant minutes. The front office has to ask themselves if they can fix his mechanics before committing massive cap space. Despite the shooting concerns, you cannot ignore his resume when the lights shine the brightest. Let's rewind to his incredible 2025 postseason run. Mathurin dropped a massive 20-point outing against the New York Knicks in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals, preventing the Knicks from tying that series at 2 games apiece. And then, on the ultimate stage in the NBA Finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the 23-year-old exploded for 27 points to help his team avoid an early 2-1 series hole. Looking at this from a pure roster construction standpoint, Benedict Mathurin is the ultimate wildcard for the Los Angeles Lakers. The risk versus reward calculation here is fascinating. On one hand, you are potentially investing $29 million into a player who currently does not fit the perimeter shooting profile demanded by your coach. On the other hand, finding a 6'5" wing who has proven he can drop 27 points in the NBA Finals is incredibly rare. The Lakers desperately need an injection of youth, athleticism, and rim pressure off the bench. Luka Doncic thrives when he has dynamic athletes running the floor. If the Lakers believe they can elevate Mathurin's shooting, this move could be the steal of the offseason, weakening the Clippers while bolstering the Lakers' playoff toughness. Are you willing to risk tying up precious cap space in a restricted free agent who struggles from Deke, or should Rob Pelinka focus those financial resources elsewhere?
Are the Los Angeles Lakers secretly preparing to pull the trigger on a blockbuster trade that would finally solve their most glaring roster weakness? What if I told you the ultimate defensive anchor, the exact type of center J.J. Redick is obsessed with, is currently on the trade block, and the Lakers front office already has the perfect trade package assembled to bring him to Hollywood? Let's talk about the elephant in the room for the Lakers. For years, the center position has been an absolute turnstile of disappointment, and they badly want to upgrade before next season. Ever since the front office reconstructed this roster around Luka Doncic, they have desperately searched for a long-term answer in the middle. We have watched Los Angeles cycle through stopgap solutions like the often unmotivated DeAndre Ayton, who might leave Los Angeles this summer, and Jackson Hayes. While both had their strengths, neither man proved to be a trustworthy starter when it mattered most. The Lakers need a rim runner. They need a lob threat. Enter Nicolas Claxton. Rumors are currently circulating that the Brooklyn Nets are getting highly aggressive in their attempts to trade their current starting center. Brooklyn is looking to increase their stockpile of younger assets moving forward and potentially shift more minutes to their promising reserve big man Day'Ron Sharpe. Because of this, Nicolas Claxton has emerged as the premier trade target for the Lakers due to his strong defense and general athleticism. But acquiring a defensive stalwart like Claxton is not going to be simple. Multiple contending teams are going to be interested. So what is the exact price tag? According to a realistic proposed trade package from Fadeaway World, the blueprint is right in front of us. The Los Angeles Lakers would receive Nicolas Claxton. In return, the Brooklyn Nets would receive Jared Vanderbilt, Dalton Knecht, and a crucial 2026 number 25 overall first-round draft pick. This proposal creates intense debate within the Lakers fan base. Are you really willing to surrender a first-round draft pick for a player entering his prime? Contending teams desperately need late first-round picks to secure cheap, controllable rotation players for their first few seasons. Giving up that 2026 25th overall pick is the biggest question mark that the franchise must agree to part ways with. Furthermore, Brooklyn has to be willing to try and develop Dalton Knecht with more playing time and take on Vanderbilt, who is widely viewed as a bench player at best. Let's look at why this specific trade makes so much logistical sense for Los Angeles. From a financial standpoint, this is an absolute masterstroke by Rob Pelinka. By shipping out Vanderbilt and Knecht, the Lakers are shedding unwanted salary. The overall salary cap implications would see the Lakers only adding about $7 million to their books after swapping those two contracts for Claxton's deal. This allows Rob Pelinka to keep enough money open for the rest of the offseason to re-sign Austin Reeves and LeBron James without worrying about losing too much flexibility. From an on-court perspective, Claxton checks virtually every single box. Head coach J.J. Redick has been a massive fan of Nick Claxton for years. In fact, back in 2023, when Redick was still a member of the media, he actually voted for Claxton to make the NBA's all-defensive team. Claxton operates with a similar style of play to guys like Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, which is the exact blueprint for success on a team led by Luka Doncic. When you break down the analytics and the roster fit, the Lakers simply have to be involved in any trade discussions for Claxton ahead of the draft. The risk of losing a late first-round pick is heavily outweighed by the immediate championship equity. You are pairing Luka, one of the greatest pick-and-roll maestros ever, with a center who thrives as a lob threat and anchors your defense on the other end. If Rob Pelinka can execute this trade, shed Vanderbilt's contract, retain space for LeBron, and secure a trusted starting center, it immediately vaults the Lakers back to the top of the West. Is Nicolas Claxton the missing piece to the Lakers' championship puzzle, or is giving up a 2026 draft pick too steep of a price?